this will forever be the thorn in my side, which is eating disorder mentality.
Oh, okay. Been there, bulimic, yeah.
Yeah. I don't practice those things,
Wow.
but it is always a thought in my mind, and I always have to make a decision to not practice those things. God's like, no, you need to take every thought captive.
Yeah.
And you have to make it obedient to Christ. And who am I? Who do I say I am? What is my character? Who do I say you are? You are loved by me. Yeah. You're cared for by me.
As a woman, what do you want to never question about God? I'm never going to question this about God.
Okay. I get emotional, like some
No,
things hit me. I'm like, I hate when that happens though. Cause I'm like, because when I get too honest, I'm like, oh, you hit a pinpoint.
Hey everybody, this is Rita Springer. Welcome again to another episode of the Rita Springer podcast. And worship is my weapon. So excited today. Most of you are going to know my guest today, Candace Cameron Bure. You go by all
Bure.
Bure.
I hate correcting,
well,
but I'm like,
no,
Bure.
that's great.
Yeah.
That's great. I would have totally needed to be corrected. But do you always use Cameron?
I do, because I've been an actor for so long.
Yeah.
And that was since I was 5.
Right.
And so it was always Candace Cameron. And when I got married, then I went by all 3 names because I just didn't want to lose the name that is most recognizable for people. Right.
Yeah, most of you guys that are watching this know Candace when she was little. Yeah. You grew up with her. I was actually talking to my niece, and I was like, "Hey, guess who's coming on the show?" Because she and her sister watched Full House all the time.
Yeah.
And of course, her response was, "Not Uncle Jesse." I was like, no. But I'm so thankful for you coming today. You've actually, you've got a book. Is it your 19th? Did you tell me 19th?
I just said
25th?
No,
26
it's not that
books?
many. It's definitely not. Maybe
a
around
lot.
12 or 15. I don't know. I've
crazy.
kind of lost count.
But this one comes out
November
11th. And I want to talk to you about that. But I really I like to build a storyline when people come on the show. And because you have such an interesting growing up in the environment of Hollywood and the entertainment industry and all of that, but you're so beautifully bold about your faith. And I just find that stunning to me. I find it stunning because in a world like that, I've been in the Christian music industry for years, but when I was younger, I worked for very wealthy people, and it was in those moments of just serving people that I felt like the Lord really began to speak to me about what he was going to do in the industry. And it was kind of an odd thing, because I was like, you mean the film industry and the dance industry and the theater industry? Because I was going to be an actress. I was going to go to New York and be a stage actress before I became a singer. And I spent so much time praying about Hollywood and really feeling like the Lord was going to do something really beautiful with people there, not in a religious way, but in a really beautiful, faith-centered way that would be a real big light shining. And I think that's one of my biggest questions for you, that I got so excited having you on, thinking, how has it been for you navigating, which I'm sure because you were in the industry at such a young age, becoming bolder and bolder and bolder with your faith? How did that transition? Can you talk a little bit about your salvation years? And did you grow up in a Christian family?
Sure. So I would say that we grew up in a very moral family. My mom was a believer. My dad was not, for many, many years. The first time I ever went to church, I was 12 years old.
Okay.
And that's because my parents they were on the brink of divorce. They were separated.
Wow.
A friend invited them to go to church, get some counseling. And so they agreed, because they did want to reconcile their marriage.
Yeah.
And so at 12, that's when we started going to church as a family. And I didn't really understand it, because my mom was a quiet believer. She prayed, but because my dad just did not want religion brought into the home, she respected that. And my dad's answer was always, you guys can think about religion when you're 18. When you're grown up, you can think about it, and whatever you want to believe, you can believe. But we're not doing religion in the house.
Wow.
Until that separation happened.
Okay.
And then we knew that was pretty serious because my dad was willing to go to church and wanted to work things out with my mom. And I took to it right away. I just loved going to church. I loved the people in there.
Yeah.
I just loved the spirit in there. And I'm like, everyone's so nice and friendly and
Yeah,
loving and
yeah.
kind. And I'd never experienced that before. So when it was like, do you want Jesus to be the Lord of your life? I was like, yes,
Wow.
yes, I do.
How old were you around this time?
12.
Okay.
I was 12 years old. So with childlike faith, I said, yes, I want Jesus to be the Lord of my life, prayed that sinner's prayer. And that was kind of it, like moving into that. And my mom was very happy. My brother is Kirk Cameron. He also became a believer at the same time. We have 2 sisters that are in between. I'm the baby of the family.
And you guys are already in Hollywood doing this stuff.
Yeah. At this point, I'd been on Full House for 2 years.
Yeah. Wow.
And so it was like I loved getting to know Jesus and loved the church aspect of life. But I can't say that it was like all of a sudden I was reading my Bible every day or I was studying every day or like it changed our life. What did change was that my parents did work through their issues. My parents have been married over 55 years today.
So there was
my
kind
dad
of a miracle in that.
is a believer now.
Wow.
So lots of amazing things happened.
Yeah.
But I think that for the most part, I just have always, call me a people pleaser, because I've just always felt a conviction to take the moral high road, do the right thing, try to honor my mom and dad as much as possible. I don't think I was ever thinking of that from a biblical point of view.
Right. It was just kind
being
of
a good person.
Wow.
And then when I met my husband at 18, I was married at 20. And
was he in the industry?
No, so my husband was a professional hockey player. He was in the NHL. And I met him right when he started his career. I was introduced to him by Dave Coulier. He played Joey on Full House, and he's a big hockey fan. So he introduced us at a charity game. And it was just, I mean, it was kind of fast and furious. 18 years old. I wasn't even thinking of getting married, but this Russian hockey player swept me off my feet. That was that. And I would say faith-wise. Was
he a believer when you met him?
Well, we were in the same place faith-wise.
Okay.
And it's kind of a funny story because we never talked about it. I mean, I always had a deep belief in God and Jesus as king. Yeah. But it was pretty surface level. And so while I was dating Val, we never talked about faith, religion, nothing. And we're driving in the car. We're engaged at this point. Yeah. And something just popped into my mind. And I looked at him and I said, "You're a believer, right?" And he's like, What are you talking about? And I go, "No, you believe in Jesus, right? Because I just realized we haven't talked about this." And he said, "What if I don't? Are you not going to marry me?" I'm like, "Well, I don't know. We've never talked about this, never thought about this. But wait, I'm pretty sure you believe in Jesus. You're a Christian, right?" And he goes, "Yes, I am. I believe in Jesus." And I was like, "Okay, we're good." I mean, that was the extent of the conversation because I wasn't mature in my faith, but I just needed to know that the foundation was there.
Wow.
And then in my early 20s, we were married. We had our first daughter, and motherhood changed things for me because I was like, what am I going to teach my kids about God? And that I hit the reality that, I don't really know God very well. I don't know my Bible. I go to church sometimes, but I wouldn't even know the foundational answers if they had questions about who God is and why do we believe what we believe. I don't think I could answer those questions. Was your brother at that point a little bit, was he like off on his faith at that point? So my brother, who's 6 years older than me, he came to faith and it was like fire.
Like a fire rocket.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, so much so that at certain points we were all like, "Oh, he's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Like he's one of the crazy Christians."
Yeah. Okay. I wondered about that because I knew he was older than you, but he got on fire.
He was on fire and very convicted in so many ways and played that out immediately.
Yeah.
And so some of us watched from afar, and while we knew it was all very genuine, it was because it was kind of like it's seeing your goofy brother who picks on you all the time and throwing spit wads through a straw at you to all of a sudden becoming this man of God with such conviction that at some points it felt condemning when you're not in that same place and you don't realize some of the things that he's talking about yet.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, you're a Christian, I'm a Christian, but you're a little overboard. But yet the reality was I just wasn't mature at all.
Right. But he could have, like, that's the thing I think that's kind of beautiful in a way, because he seems so hardcore, even from the outside looking in. Mm-hmm. That could have turned you off. Mm-hmm. But it actually... It was good.
He played a pivotal role in my really understanding my faith journey.
Yeah.
Because when I started thinking about all of these questions about what am I going to teach my children,
kids,
at the very same time, my brother called me and said, hey, Can, I read this book. I want to send it to you. I really hope that you'd read it because it opened my eyes up to the gospel message in a way that I'd never really heard it presented before. And I really pray that you'll take the time to read this book. And my brother doesn't call me out of the blue to tell me to read a book very often. So he had sent it. Wow. And I was like, okay, I'm going to read it. It's important to him. It'll be important to me. And I read it and it rocked my world.
Wow. Do you
It was called The Way of the Master by Ray Comfort. Okay. Are you familiar with that?
I've heard the title, yes.
He does a lot of street evangelizing and street preaching. But what clicked for me in my journey was that I always thought I was a good person. And even though I understood intellectually that we're saved by faith through grace, I really deep down thought that it was truly my goodness that was going to save me. That as long as I was a better person and did good things more than bad things, that was really what was going to get me to heaven, to be reconciled with God on Judgment Day. And this book it went through the law. It went through the 10 Commandments. And I'm like, okay, yeah, we know the 10 Commandments, but I had to, when I went through each one of them, have I ever told a lie? Yeah, I've told a lie. Who hasn't? Have I always honored my father and mother every day? Well, no. What kid does in their teens or as a kid?
Yeah.
You could go through all of them. I'm like, hey, I'm not a murderer.
Right.
And then you read the scripture where Jesus says, yeah, but if you even have hatred in your heart, it's as if you're a murderer. And so when I held myself up to the standard of the 10 Commandments as what good is, by which the standard God is going to judge me, not the world standard, I was like, oh, I guess I'm not a good person by God's standard, if that's what it is. And then after what felt like sitting in quicksand, I just all of a sudden went from a good person to being like, wait, I'm bad in God's eyes. I'm a bad person. Like I can't make it to heaven on my own. And then the reality was, but that's what the gospel is. You can't make it on your own.
Wow.
That's why God died for you. And then it was like the veil came off.
Yeah.
It was, my eyes were suddenly opened and I understood the gospel for the first time at 25 years old. 24. Wow. And, I don't know why it clicks for some people with certain words and at certain ages and all of that. But that is what really started my faith walk, because from that day forward, I recognized myself as a sinner.
Yeah.
I now truly understood my need for Jesus and why he died for me. And then I felt utter gratitude. And I said, God, help me to live a life that's honoring, pleasing to you. Yeah. Don't let me forget this. Let me walk in conviction every day to honor you. And I pray that, not every day, but several days a week, every day of my life since then. And I truly think that that's God honors that prayer because I want to be a woman that lives with conviction, and I do to the best of my ability. And I'm always asking God to search my heart and call me out when I'm not.
Hey, you guys, I just want to thank Amazing Life Foundation for making what I do here on this podcast possible. They are my rally team, my biggest supporters. Without Amazing Life, this podcast would not be coming to you. They've just got this insane team of editors. I've just had the best of the best. And I want to just give them a shout out. There's a lot of beautiful things that are coming out of Amazing Life Foundation. And I want you to stay tuned for some of those things. But I just want to shout out to them and thank them for making this podcast possible and bringing this podcast to you every Wednesday and letting me do what I love to do. Yeah, in your journey, because of what you've been doing with your life, there is such a heavy emphasis on religion. For you, was it a balance to try to figure out true relationship with Jesus as opposed to, okay, now I understand the text, I understand all of these things and how they fit together like a puzzle. But because you and I both see this a lot in industry and in Christians, is that people can say that they know the Lord or say that they received Christ in their heart, but you almost really understand the people that are walking with it almost have this encountering relationship with Jesus. Did that come automatically for you? Or were there moments where you're like, oh gosh, he's so relatable, like he's right, his presence is right here? When did you ever start having encounters with the Lord where you really had to figure out, okay, religion is one thing, but relationship is another?
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, it very much became relationship.
Yeah.
Like very quickly. And I just learned, listen, I am not this beautiful prayer person. I'm not the person that wants to be like, oh, I'll pray for.
You're not the intercessor.
I'm
on the
not
prayer
that
chain.
person. I just, I start sweating. My palms are sweating, and I'm like, oh gosh, I got to pray in front of a bunch of people. But I learned very quickly to be in conversation with God all day long. And I do. I mean, so much so that I'm the crazy lady in the car that's talking to herself, but I'm talking to God all the time, out loud. And I just learned that he's with me all the time. Yeah. And I treat him that way. I treat God as if, I mean, I know his presence is here, but I treat him like he's in the room all the time. And that was even in my early 20s. So I developed the relationship of like, God, whatever it is, what would you want me to do here? Or God, intercede for me here. Or what can I? And you just, when you have that ongoing dialogue, or you learn to cultivate that dialogue, then it just becomes
I get asked this all the time, so I'm going to ask you as it relates to what you're saying. People always say to me, man, I wish I heard God like you. And I'm always like, you can. Like it. But everybody will hear God in a different way. Yeah. How did you learn to know that's his voice? How did you learn to know that the shepherd's voice?
It's such a good question. I find it hard to answer because I feel like everyone hears differently. And then you want to discern, is that the voice of God, or is this my own will and desire talking to me and wanting to hear the answer that I want to hear? Yeah. But I mean, we know that we can always, if we feel that we hear the voice of God, we know that we always want to line it up with scripture and say, would the Bible affirm this as to what I'm thinking? So that's a way. But I think over the years, honestly, hearing the voice of God, I mean, I don't hear an audible voice, but I certainly, there's just something in my soul that I know it's not coming from my own mind when he is speaking to me. Maybe he gives me a revelation, a thought, an idea, and I'm like, oh, well, that was from you, because that came out of the blue. That was from God. Or, I mean, I know easily when God want something out of me because I physically will, my heart starts pounding,
Okay,
my palms do get sweaty. And that's not always, it's not a nervous thing. I just know God, it's like the Holy Spirit just starts pumping the blood inside of me. I'm like, oh no, you're asking me to do something. I've got to do this right now. I've got to speak up. I've got to step forward. I've got to
That's so
move
good.
in this. So I can feel it in a physical way. And then, you know, sometimes it's quiet and I just have to, you don't always hear it and you just take the step forward and I will say, God, but if it's not the right way, just close the door.
How did you implement God's voice in like you making decisions as you grew in relationship with him where maybe there was a role you felt like, nope, I'm not taking that role.
Yeah.
Like where it may have been an incredible opportunity for you, but you felt maybe that the Lord said, don't do it.
Yeah. I've had that so many times.
Yeah.
And it definitely isn't out of fear. Because I'm actually also a person when something really scares me, then I feel like I need to do it to conquer it or something.
Yeah.
But there's so many times that I'm presented opportunities or looking at a script and you know who's attached, you know what it can do. And it's just so immediately, I think because I've prayed for conviction, it's a constant prayer of mine that God immediately answers with conviction.
Wow.
So I can read anything and go, no, that's not for me. Does that honor and please God in some way?
Yeah.
Is there redemption? Is this a story that's going to have an impact that's going to help change someone? Or is this just, I don't mind things that are for entertainment only if that's entertainment for the family, if that's still entertainment that's pleasing to God. But I can very easily discern, and I think it's just having deep conviction that God gives me.
But you've kind of always carried that. If you were 12 years old and always had kind of this moral ground, that's always been resident in you.
Yeah. And
do you feel like when you're looking at even the migration of your life from then to now and all the things that you're doing, that you are keeping your mind open to the possibilities that maybe God has something for you that you've never even conquered before that you can do? Like, do you in the entertainment industry or something else? I mean, you've conquered book writing.
Well, I would say that's one that I would never have thought of, thought about at all. Like no.
Are you an avid book reader?
No.
Okay.
No. No.
What about a self-help book lover?
This is a self-help book what?
Lover. Were you a lover of self-help books?
Well, I do. I only read nonfiction. I mean, I very rarely will read a fiction book because I feel like I also read scripts.
Right.
All year long. I mean, I read 100 scripts. So I'm like, I enjoy watching movies. I enjoy watching TV. But when it comes to reading, because I read so much for work, I don't enjoy reading fiction books.
Okay.
So I really do. I've always loved nonfiction and in that self-help type of
point
world.
You to different
I want to learn something.
Yeah.
If I'm going to spend my time in this, I want to take something away. I want it to change me for the better.
Do you feel like that the Holy Spirit, God, however people want to say it, I think it's the Holy Spirit, but do you think that he's doing something in this industry?
In entertainment?
Yeah.
I do. Absolutely. And in music. I absolutely do. We've seen a shift over the last few years.
Yeah.
And it's not that it's never been here. It's not that all these amazing artists haven't been around for decades.
Yeah.
But I think as the culture becomes more divided and people are drawing their line in the sand, more people are willing to stand up, more people are willing to put their money where their values are, and people are becoming emboldened in their faith. And so I see that in entertainment particularly, that even really high profile filmmakers, directors, animators, creators are willing to leave some of these big companies because they don't agree with the agenda that they're pushing in some of these movies. And then I see corporations now who might not be Christians seeing, oh, the Christians show up for movies. They show up for music.
Yeah.
They really do.
Wow.
And so when they come to the box office and they put their money there and they see that it's profitable, well, then these big corporations are going, oh, well, we should get into the faith market now because we can make money. And I'm like, great. It doesn't, listen, I care about people's salvation.
Right.
However, I'm like, if a corporation isn't a Christian corporation, but they want to fund Christian programming, sure, I'll take it. Let's go. As long as you have the people that are actually making the product behind it, understanding biblical values.
Yeah. Do you think that that's also, I mean, I've been saying for years, I think somebody who back in my early days always wanted to be an actress. And then I would get so frustrated because I'd be like, why is it that Christian films are so poorly acted in?
Oh,
well, how come we've got the creator of the universe up there, like orchestrating our whole lives, but we can't ask him for a good editor for a film or a good actor? Has that ever been frustrating to you? It's getting better. It's getting so much better.
So much better. Yes, this was my problem. So I've always been in family entertainment, not Christian entertainment, but family entertainment my whole life. And that's been incredibly intentional in my walk. And the reason I didn't do Christian anything for so long is because the quality was so poor. I'm like, I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah.
It's terrible. And there was no money behind it. There are no budgets behind it. And then you're not hiring the best people that can do the job because there's no money to pay them.
Right.
So while I appreciate the Christian filmmakers that went before, who did the best jobs that they could with the budgets that they have, it still just doesn't cut it.
Right.
But now we see that shift because there's money behind it. And so people are making amazing quality, beautiful projects, but these big corporations and companies are supporting them financially, which is great. So it's only been in very recent years, I would say more the last 5 years, that I have now made a shift to create more faith content because it is very important to me. But I just didn't want to be associated with the really bad stuff.
Yeah. Well, that's so good to know. That's why one thing I was like, I got to ask her this because this is really bugging me. But I have seen a shift in it and see a change in it. And that's why for me, being a 26-year-old kid praying over these things that God was telling me were going to come in music and filmmaking and the stage. And I would have these dreams about, ballets and just his spirit being in the dance of faith-filled dancers and his spirit just kind of going into the atmosphere and hitting people's hearts without any words, and just thinking that would be crazy. So there's a great excitement for it. How do you, I mean, when I look at what you've done and accomplished in your young years, they kind of don't make even this secular family good stuff like you had as a child. Like everything's so filtered with all the stuff that it's like, why are we even watching this? Do you think that'll get better as this progresses, where we really keep the moral ground and tell a good story?
I'm hopeful that it does keep progressing because I even look at Leanne Morgan, the comedian, who is just, I mean, hit it so big, right? And she has her new show on Netflix. And it's a Chuck Lorre show. He did Two Men, or whatever. I'm blanking on the name. I'm going to forget.
The Charlie Sheen.
But Chuck Lorre is just this amazing guy that has all these number one, Big Bang Theory, has done all the number one sitcoms. But they push the boundaries. They push the envelope. And then you get Leanne Morgan coming in there and they develop a show together. But Leanne is going, hey, this is what I'm willing to do. This is what I'm not. And this is what my audience is going to respond to, and this is what they're not.
Yeah.
And so again, I think that more people are willing to hear it because the Christians are really tuning into what they want to tune into and majorly tuning out. And you see it. You've seen it with boycotts. You see it with their money. We show up where we want to show up. Yeah. So I'm really hopeful that that will continue in a positive direction, that the big companies, you know, they kind of miss the flyover states. They miss middle America. It's always based around the coast, the West, you know, New York and Los Angeles and these really big cities. And you're like, but that's not half of America.
Right.
It's middle America. And the more we're able to represent middle America and we are standing upon that, the big companies are listening. And
that's great. I mean, I see that just as someone that's obviously in the music industry, but just someone who's an avid lover of just great.
Yeah.
I started, as hilarious it is, I started watching Turkish television because, well, they're Muslim. They can't have anything.
Oh.
They can't even show alcohol. Like they have to have it fogged out. It's hilarious, but it's actually kind of clean television, you know, because television, especially in COVID, you were home watching TV all the time. I was like, this stuff is so raunch. But so that actually makes me feel so much better. Now, let me actually kind of, I'm going to navigate into like your becoming kind of an author of books. What was your first pitch into why I want to write a book? What was it? Was it for women?
I got talked into my first one.
Okay.
In a good way.
Like was it a biography?
Yeah, it was more autobiographical. And I thought, I'm not old enough to write an autobiography. I haven't lived enough life yet. I haven't learned enough. But I had a co-author on that, and she was already an established writer. And she said, I think we could write a story together and we could, you know, use a lot. And so that was my first introduction. Yeah. And wouldn't you know it, it hit the New York Times bestseller.
Wow.
I'm like, what just happened?
Yeah.
That's crazy. And so that very first book was called Reshaping It All. And I had talked about my struggle with an eating disorder, unhealthy habits, how that related to my relationship with God.
Yeah. And
so it was, you know, it was interesting. It was my story, but people found it interesting. And so that was, because it did well, then the publisher was like, hey, let's write another book.
One. Yeah.
And so that kind of started the writing journey. It honestly was not anything I ever thought I was going to do. It wasn't even on my bucket list.
Yeah.
But I feel like God just opens these doors and he gives me the courage to walk through them.
Yeah.
And he also
Do you like the writing book, the process for writing a book?
Yes and no. I have great people that help. I mean, my book would look like garbage, I feel like, if it was left to my own writing in and of itself. But I have great editors that are amazing, and they reshape sentences that make it flow beautifully. And so I'm so appreciative. I don't want to take all the credit in that way.
Yeah.
But it's been fun. It's been cathartic. It feels like therapy at times to be able to write this stuff out and then do some of the research of, what does the Bible say?
Yeah.
And that was always my goal, is that I always want there to be a takeaway in anything that I'm doing. And, you know, it might be the perfect amount of takeaway for a new believer. It might not be deep enough for a very seasoned Christian.
Yeah.
But my whole walk I has been about, I just want to bring you one step closer to knowing Jesus.
Yeah.
That's always been the goal and the purpose. And I feel like God has given me an audience because of the television and the shows and the upbringing. Yeah. And there's a lot of people that are inspired by my faith walk, that are either people that haven't really thought about God, or maybe they were raised that way when they were kids, but they just kind of fell off, haven't given it much thought, but they want to come back. Something draws them. And so I have found that this is where a lot of what God's gifted me in and just helping guide people to take one step closer to knowing him better.
And is your audience like mainly like women? Moms?
Women younger and older than you would think because of the vast array of Full House that has never been off the air in 38 years. Right. All these new kids discover it, think it's a new
crazy
show. So I have a lot of young women, even teenagers, but a lot of young adults. And then all of the Hallmark and Great American Family, Christmas movies and mystery movies. I have so many 80 and 90-year-old fans so it's quite a vast array, but I would say predominantly, 20 to 60 years old, which is a pretty big demographic.
Yeah. Wow. So you every subject that you do you do a book every 2 years, or have you?
I haven't released a book in 4 years. This is my first devotional in 4 years.
Okay.
And but I've released several devotionals, and then I have maybe 4 like trade books, like more autobiographical ones.
But the devotionals, is it like a 30-day devotional?
They're all different. So I have one that we actually did a re-release on it. Okay. And it's called 100 Days of Joy and Strength. And it's a smaller devotional, and it's like one page every day for 100 days. Okay. This new book, Rise and Renew.
Yes.
Honestly, when I just got a copy of it, and it's honestly the most beautiful devotional, the way they've formatted and printed it in the photos and
all the
it's
colors.
Just, I'm like, this is gorgeous. And that's a 30-day devotional.
Okay.
So that is 30 days to rise and renew. Literally, let's wake up and rise, and let's renew our mind.
Yeah, it looks like you've got 15 chapters of rise and 15 chapters of renew. Is that how you like when I was looking on the copy that they sent me, you have your chapters are kind of rise, and then renew, renew.
Yeah.
Can you like describe that, like what the process is for this 30 days of?
Well, the way the book is formatted, again, it is simple. It's easy.
Yeah.
You can spend as much time or as little as you want. If you're going to just read the book, it might be 10 minutes long. You're going to read, I have several scriptures for each subject. So if we're going to renew our mind in grace or purpose or pick whatever it's going to be, faith, I'm going to give you probably 5 to 10 scriptures that all correspond with that topic. And then I'm going to give you a devotional, and that's my personal story. I mean, it might be about me, but it might just be about a friend or a situation that corresponds to that scripture. And then I'm going to give you a prayer that you can say. Yeah. And then I'm going to give you something to act on. I call think on it and act on it. So let's think upon these things, basically questions that based on the scripture, based on the devotional, based on the prayer, like what are some things how is this working? What are you thinking about these? And I'll ask you several questions. And then there's an act on it page. And that's just to do some kind of activity. There might be a chart or a graph in there that you could fill out. I might ask you to write out your own prayer or journal something, or I might ask you to do an activity like today. I need you to really actually get up today and go for the 45-minute walk. And while you do, I hope that you will pick 2 of these scriptures and renew your mind and memorize while you walk with these scriptures. So I'll give you some activity. Yeah. And it's 30 days of that. And if you want to go deeper, open your Bible up. Look at the context of every single scripture. Read before and after. I mean, you can deep dive so much if you want to. If you're like, hey, this is great, I'm going to pick one of these scriptures and think about that for the day or the week, and you try to, whatever you want to do.
Are there life experiences that you could talk about? Maybe some of them are in the story time of the book that you can talk about of how you actually had to do it for yourself. Like I got to renew my mind, whether it was a bad day, bad week, bad year, bad whatever. Can you maybe tell us a little bit about?
I mean, I think that I'm 49 years.
Which is still really young. I'm just telling you right now.
I'm looking,
chill out,
I'm
49.
looking at that big 5-0 headed my way next year. But I feel like, let's just call it the midpoint of life. If we're lucky enough to live 100
Are you
years.
perimenopause yet?
I don't really have any symptoms yet.
Okay, girl, just buck up.
Listen, I know. I just talked about this on my podcast that it's airing. We're having a whole season on body, and then I have 4 episodes dedicated to perimenopause and menopause with a
because nobody's talking about it.
I'm doing everything I can to have the best symptoms I can possibly have. So, what were we talking about?
Okay, like life experiences that that you could talk about with regard to this book and how you put it in the book.
So, you know the scripture that says that God can make beauty from ashes.
Yeah.
And we all, at this point in life, I mean, life is a roller coaster. You go through lots of ups and downs, and some feel harder than others. Some of our friends' experiences feel worse than ours. And yet we all go through something. Like, it's not for us to even compare that, like, oh, I shouldn't feel bad about my experience because my friend's is even worse.
Right.
You know,
the whole comparison of
we all have our challenges. And, you know, I think one of my biggest challenges in life was in marriage. I'm celebrating 29, or I've celebrated 29 years. It'll be 30 next year. But we've been through that roller coaster of marriage. I don't know anyone married that long that hasn't.
Yeah, I'm not, but I've heard stories.
Yeah. And you either climb up out of the pit or you don't. You know, you go your separate ways. And I think it really was right around this time of writing this book. I felt like I was in the pit with my marriage. And to see and nothing, no scandal other than two people going, I just don't know if we're compatible anymore. I don't know if your goals are my goals and my goals are yours. And I don't know if we're seeing life the same way anymore. And I feel this way and you make me feel this way and that way. And, you know, you go through all of the things, and you come to that place of like, I don't know if we can do this anymore. And even mutually. And it's devastating. It's horrible. And yet I can look at that season and I thank God for COVID, because I got stuck in the house with my husband.
Wow.
And so we went, we're either it's gonna make us or break us.
Hunker down and
we're gonna figure it out.
Wow.
Or we're not.
Yeah.
And we did. We hunkered down. We got to a level of honesty that I don't think either of us ever really wanted to go there, because it hurts. It's not even just about you being honest about the other person. I think it's easier to tell someone their faults. It's really hard to hear your own faults. And so anyway, difficult moments in life. And so many times I got in my car just to go for a drive on PCH and drive up the coast and bawl my eyes out for an hour, because I'm like, I don't even know what's happening, because of the conviction, the wrestle of, I need to honor God and please God in this. But is it honoring to God if we are two unhappy people together? Is this what a Christ-like marriage is? You know, all these questions go through your mind and you wrestle through them. And so I can honestly say I'm so grateful that we did. I couldn't love my husband more and feel loved by him more. And, you know, I know everyone doesn't have that. And there's so many very strong women and men that do hang in there in marriage when it still doesn't feel good. They haven't gotten to that point where you're like, oh, I see the beauty out of the ashes yet. And that's really where a lot of the book came from, of going through the deep struggle and saying, well, how am I going to get through this? What am I going to do? And it always came down to, I need to know what God says. I need to know what God says about me.
Yeah.
And I need to know who he is, what his character is. Every day I need to renew my mind, because otherwise I'm just on repeat. It's like a circle of lies that go through my mind that I can spin and sit in, whatever feeling you pick it. Do you live in shame? Do you live in guilt? Do you live in anger? And your mind just spins those thoughts, and God's like, no, you need to take every thought captive. And you have to make it obedient to Christ. And who am I? Who do I say I am? What is my character? Who do I say you are? You are loved by me. You're cared for by me.
Do you think that's that's the place that women need to actually evolve into in order to actually be honest about what's really going on in some of their, because it's so refreshing to hear you so honestly talking about your marriage when I think that's really hard for a lot of women to be able to discuss.
And my husband's going to hate that I'm saying this. He always says, why do you tell people this, honey?
It's so beautiful though, because
we need to hear the honesty.
And I don't hear you at all saying anything bad about him. That's, I think, what's so beautiful about it is that both of you came to this place. I mean, I have my sister Roxanne is just stunning, but she's come on the show to talk about her failed first marriage that was just really, really painful. And then just how she just takes communion every morning for the man she's married to now, because she's like, I have to. Yeah. Because it keeps me in this place with the Lord where it's like, you, not me, you, not me, you, not me. And I'm like, wow, I wish more women felt the bravery of confession and the bravery of just being able to say, sometimes this is, because I think, and I guess maybe this is why I'm asking you the question, because sometimes our faith and our relationship with Jesus can Minnie Mouse us to the point where we're like, well, we can't say that because what will people think that we think about the Lord? And it's like all of a sudden, what do we got God in a box somewhere that we can't just, the psalmists are able to just say everything they want to say. It's like, why can't we? Where's the permission to say?
And I'm so glad that you said that. And I love that, because I know that I'm not making God upset at me if I'm getting mad at him and asking him the big questions and going, why? Like, the questions that we're afraid to ask, they don't scare God. If there's one thing I've learned, so I'm on my 4th trip through the Bible chronologically. I've been doing the Bible recap with Tara Lee Cobble. It's my favorite thing. And so I have loved reading through the Bible, and I've loved the Old Testament. And if I've learned one thing, the big broad overview is that God is so patient and so loving. You look at everything that happened in that Old Testament and how they just kept turning from him and not obeying him. And he just kept going, okay, you might be 40 years in the desert, but I'm going to give you another shot at it. There might be 400 years after that, but guess what? I'm going to give you another 400 years of just my
patience of God.
Patience and my pursual of you. God pursues us every single day, and he pursues everyone, and it's been years. So when I look at the patience and the love that he has to continue to pursue, no matter how dumb we've been, I'm like, my question of going, God, why would you do this? Or I'm upset at you, and this isn't, why would you allow this to happen to me? I'm like, that doesn't upset God. He's not turning his back on me because I'm asking that question. He's like, I know. And I'm going to give you time to figure it out. And I'm going to be here right with you and walk alongside of you if you'll just spend time with me.
Hey, a little segue here to just remind those of you who really love what the podcast is carrying, love what I do. You know that I mentor, you know that I work with creative and artists. We are in some exciting things this year with my nonprofit, Wearing Justice, but I can't do a lot of these things unless I have help and donations. We are a charitable organization, a nonprofit, and it's Christian education based. And if you are out there and you love to donate to things that just, not just inspire people, but heal people while people are being inspired, would you consider donating to my nonprofit, Wearing Justice? If you just click this QR code that you're seeing on the screen, you can donate and give any amount of donation. It was greatly appreciated. I would so appreciate it because I can keep doing what I feel like God's called me to do and really keep believing in artists everywhere and how God is using the arts to heal people's heart. And I love that. I just love what I do. I want to keep this up, but I need your help to do it. So would you consider today making a donation to Wearing Justice and help keep this all up and running? Is that kind of your greatest hope for this particular book because it's pitched toward women, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
For sure.
For women in their brokenness to actually realize that God's an approachable God.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I would absolutely say that.
Yeah.
And that, your hurt, your shame, your guilt, it doesn't define you.
Yeah.
God is in the restoration business and he's in the reconciliation business.
Yeah.
That's what he wants and deeply desires. And he is the definition of love. And
Yeah.
I want women to know that they're not defined by their circumstances.
Yeah. That's so great. Now, would you say that this kind of question popped in? I'm like, I wonder what she thinks about this. Paul talks about this thorn in scripture, and he asks that the thorn be removed. And every time he asks, I think he asks 3 times, and the reply is, my grace is sufficient, my grace is sufficient. So it always kind of leads me to think that the thorn wasn't like an addiction, but almost like something that just an insecurity or, something that made him feel devalued or made him feel fearful that he was going to return to something. And I think all of us have that. And it's almost like the Lord doesn't fully remove it because it actually keeps us in a place of dependency with God. In the course of your life, what would you say has been the thing that you constantly have to be like, okay, Lord, is it like, and what I'm asking, like, if I were to answer that question, it would be like just that I'm seen by God, that God hasn't forgotten me. Because as a single woman, single mom, I think I struggle all the time with, are you still there? Like, are you still, do you realize we need you over here? That kind of thing.
Yeah.
For others, and for so many women that you're pitching, a rise up and renew your mind and faith. What can you tell us about your own journey that has been like, oh, I've had to have the Lord's grace and sufficiency in this area over and over, that he necessarily doesn't pull out and take away, but you've actually become mature and more mature to let him keep having your thought process in it. Does that make sense?
It totally does. It's another great question. I'm loving this conversation, by the way. Thank you. I have 2 places. Because I always say, like, this will forever be the thorn in my side, which is eating disorder mentality.
Oh, okay. Been there, bulimic,
Yeah, all the things.
Yeah.
So it's a constant, I don't practice those things,
Wow.
but it is always a thought in my mind, and I always have to make a decision to not practice those things.
Yeah.
And I've prayed so much over so many years for that to, like, let those thoughts just be gone. Please remove them, Lord. And they're not.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, okay, great. But I have the tools and it keeps me close to him. And, I wish it was gone. I wish I didn't think like that, but I do.
Yeah.
So that's one of them. And the other place, if I'll be really honest, because you said feeling seen is for you. And I would say that my biggest kind of weakness, that I'm an achiever by nature. Again, I don't fully trust God. Like, I struggle with trusting him, that I always feel like, okay, but I have to. And it's not necessarily in a sense of a controlling thing,
right?
But I feel like, but I got to do it. I got to do enough. And I don't trust that his grace is sufficient.
Yeah.
I don't have to achieve a certain level of something for you to love me.
Yeah.
That one's
I mean,
harder
I
for
think
me.
that's a huge thing for
Mm-hmm.
people. I mean, trust in general, I think is, especially with somebody you can't
See.
Yeah. I think that's why faith is such a beautiful thing, because you could feel it on the inside, but not necessarily ever see it on the outside.
Yeah.
And I do think when you're talking about like, I do so many women's conferences, like I'm sure you do, but like books like this, I think we go after them because there's still so much in us that feels so insecure constantly and so unworth what the Lord is like. It's there for you freely. You don't have to work for this. You don't have to. So it's so, I love your honesty to answer the question, because I do believe that the healing in us as women is going to take all of us being super honest to say, yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, me too. And I think when we're elevated in a place of faith, or like for me, people will listen to my music and I think, oh man, she's just got to be hanging out with the Lord all the time. And it's like, do you know how many times I've wondered if God was ever going to just even come and take care of us and ever see him, or take care of my kid, or give us enough money to buy food, when he was little. And I don't think that stuff is honestly talked about enough, because we assume so much about people. Do you feel like as women, or maybe I should pitch the question like this: as a woman, what do you want to never question about God? What do you want to rise up to be able, like, I'm never going to question this about God another day. This is my desire, to never question God about this.
Okay. I get emotional. Like,
no,
something's hit me.
Okay.
I'm like, I hate when that happens though. So I'm like, because when I get too honest, I'm like, oh, you hit a pinpoint. Worth and value. Yeah. Worth and value.
Yeah. I
wish any woman never had to question their worth or value.
Yeah. But it's huge.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're sitting in a room alone and Jesus walks up to you and he says, hey, Candace, what do you want? What would you say to him?
I hope I'm like, I just want to be with you.
Yeah.
I mean, if I'm seeing Jesus face to face, I'm like, just take me.
Yeah.
I just want to be with you.
Wow. That's so good. That's so good. Okay. I'm going to ask you one more question, and then I'll make you cry.
No, I'm a crier. I'm a big crybaby. Sorry.
Don't apologize. Your family. Your children are older. You just married a daughter.
Yeah.
Your son's married, but you just gave away your daughter.
Yeah.
How was that experience for you as a mom? Because I told you that I told my kid I think he needs to marry somebody. His mother's dead.
It's so funny. It's not funny,
but
you've
funny. Actually,
but I get it.
Yeah, you're so young, but you've let go of two. And I always say motherhood isn't about hanging on. It's about letting go.
It is about letting go.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I've enjoyed motherhood. I've loved the older, I want to say the teen years and the young adult. It's probably been my favorite.
Wow. Did you have teens going through COVID?
Yes.
How was that?
It was brutal.
Yeah.
It was brutal for their academics, brutal for their sports, kind of messed the trajectory up of things.
Yeah.
It was pretty awful. Although they're in great places now. I mean, but it just, it was hard to put a lot of effort for them to put a lot of effort in, and as parents, and then just see things just disappear. So I'm getting these are probably my perimenopausal things, because I lose my train of thought quickly. And I'm trying to remember the question. We were talking about giving our daughter,
like how was it to you letting go of those kids?
So this is what I love, something that my dad always said when we were growing up, all of us kids, and dating and looking for a spouse. And he always said, I want to be in your lives forever.
Wow.
He said, so I will love whoever you marry, and even if I don't like them very much, but hopefully I will like them too.
Yeah.
But you'll never know it from me unless they're hurting you.
Right.
Will I step in? But if this is who you choose to marry, I'm going to love them because I want to be a part of your life and our grandkids' life. And that's it.
Yeah.
And my dad said that over and over. And I loved that he said that. And it gave me such peace, but also authority over my own life and choices.
Wow.
And I look at it now as an adult. I mean, he was saying this to us as teens, but I'm like, Dad, you're a smart guy and a loving guy. And thank you for that.
Wow.
And so that's been my attitude going into it. And I love the term mother-in-love. Because, mother-in-law is like, my mother-in-law.
Monster-in-law is usually
bad connotation. So I love mother-in-love. And I've just seen too many friends that have gone before me that have married their children and then seen how bad relationships can be between mother-in-law, daughter-in-law, son-in-law, whatever. So I've just watched, learned, listened, taken advice over the years, and it definitely is different to give away a daughter because she's taking someone else's name. It's like she becomes their family. At least it feels like that in the action. But when you oftentimes your son might go towards your daughter's family, but I love my daughter-in-law so much, and she loves hanging out with us. So I truly feel like I gained a daughter. And then with my daughter, kind of giving her away feels a little weird with the name change, and yet love our son-in-law, and I see how wonderful they are together as a couple. Yeah. And we are so close as a family.
That's so
and
great.
So is he to his family, but it's all working out so far.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest goal for me is to have a helper mentality with my children at this point. I'll always be their mom, but I don't need to parent them. They're adults. Yeah. I've raised children to become independent adults. That's always been my goal. Like you said, I want to see them fly and flourish, and I'll help you in ways that I can, but it's not my choice to make anymore. Yeah. And I learned a long time ago when they became adults, to ask questions and ask them if they want my opinion, and not necessarily give it when it's not asked for. Yeah. To maintain a healthy and good relationship that has boundaries. Yeah. And I basically have my dad's attitude where I'm like, I want to be in your life forever. So I want to love my daughter-in-law so much. And if whatever her boundaries are, I want to respect them. Right. And then with my son-in-law, like exact same thing. That's what my attitude is going toward it, because I want the healthiest, happiest relationship forever with all of my kids.
How's your husband with that? Is he kind of like same? Or is it hard for him? Because for a guy, I think it would be hard to lose the girl.
My husband's so cool. Let me just say that. Everyone loves him. Wow. I love him, but I don't know. He has this great mix of humor, but he's a very strong, opinionated man. Yeah. But everyone's kind of drawn to him. He's like the best one in our family. Wow.
So was it more painful for him, like on the wedding day of your daughter? Or was he just like, this is great?
No, he was pretty cool. I'm sure that there was some deep things that he, as a man, probably isn't sharing. Yeah. But I think he more teased her about not being a bure anymore and taking someone else's name, because the bure name is the best.
Right. How none of your kids went into acting?
Natasha is an actress.
She is. Okay.
She's an actress. That's what she does. But my boys did not go into entertainment.
Wow.
Yeah.
Does that like make you happy? Or are you like, aw?
Yeah, I mean, I love it. I love that we get to connect on that level.
Yeah.
And we talk about it all the time. And she still comes to me and asks for advice and this and that. And so I love the dynamic of it. But I would be happy with whatever my kids would want to do and support them in that way. But yeah, my boys want nothing to do with the entertainment industry.
Wow. That's kind of
Natasha's
great. Yeah.
in it. And then my son-in-law is also an actor. They're both actors. So
okay.
I feel like I got this little extra blessing by having a son-in-law that I could talk with about acting too.
Yeah.
It's really fun for me.
Wow. Yeah. And are you excited at the prospect? I mean, you're going to be a young grandmother, but does that excite you? Or you're like, I'm not ready for that?
Oh no, I can't wait to be a grandmother.
Oh, that's great.
I was like, make me a grandmother before I'm 50. I wanted to be a young grandma. I don't think that's going to happen yet, but
wow, that's good. I mean, some women don't want that. It ages them. I think it matures a woman.
Me too. I think it's so cool.
Yeah. My sister has, I think, 10 grandchildren, and cool. It's quite beautiful.
Yeah.
I mean, I won't probably be for quite a while, but that's okay. I'm just hope I won't be in a wheelchair. Yes. I started late, but anyway. Okay, well, November 11th is when this book comes out.
Yeah, Rise and Renew.
Rise and Renew, and it'll be available anywhere. Amazon, any bookstore.
Yes.
Do you even go to a bookstore anymore?
There aren't that many brick and mortar stores. It's more like Target.
It makes me kind of sad.
It does.
Because I just loved going and sitting down, reading a book or looking through things. I know. It's like there's so many things feels like the world is getting so weird that we're not.
I feel like airports are bookstores now.
Yeah.
That's kind of the only place.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a handful of Barnes and Nobles around and books. I mean, there's a handful of bookstores. But not like there used to be.
Are you gearing up for travel?
I am. Yeah.
Do you still love that? Or are you just like, another flight?
It depends. I don't love it.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't mind traveling, but it becomes a lot when you're on several planes a week. Every week.
Different time zones.
Yeah, it's a lot but it's seasonal. But this is a busy fall and winter for me, so I will be doing a lot of travel for press on the book. I also have 2 Christmas movies that are coming out.
Are they Hallmark
this year.
Movies?
They're Great American Family Channel.
Oh, great.
Yeah, and so I'll be touring for that, and then I'm actually doing a live tour. That's a self-titled Candace Cameron Bure live tour.
That's amazing.
And so I have 4 cities in November we're doing, and then I'm going to shoot another movie in December. So I've got a
So you're still acting and doing all kind of stuff.
Yes. So I still act and I produce all the movies that I'm in. I have a production company, Candy Rock Entertainment. So I'll probably produce the last 30 movies that we've done and movies that I'm not in. We co-produced the feature film Unsung Hero last year. That was about For King and Country, the Smallbone family. So my company co-produced that movie. And and then I've been Chief Creative Officer for the Great American Family Channel for the last 3 years.
Beautiful.
And just helping curate that programming as well. So I have a lot of jobs and I love them all.
But you love them. Yeah. That's so great. Thank you so much for coming.
Thanks
and just
for having me.
Spending the morning with
and
me.
Having
That's great.
Wonderful questions and just really get into it. I love it. I do.
No, it was
Thank
great.
you.
Thanks so much, Candace.